Kenny NYG from Detroit to New York. Finished in 2019, wide receiver 9. Obviously, he was out with that hip injury early in the season. He was kind of day to day every single week. Didn't end up playing. Best season so far: 65 receptions, 119 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, can he ever get back to that form?
Yeah, I honestly no. Kenny Golladay, he will never finish as a top 10 wide receiver again in fantasy, in my opinion. Okay. I actually had to move him down slightly in my rankings after doing a little bit more research.
Same.
Like I say all the time with the Giants, that offensive line worries me. What is Kenny Galladay's game? Kenny Golladay is not slant king. He's not giving me a screen. Kenny Golladay is a guy who needs to let the route develop, go get a contested catch, throw it downfield to me. And if the offensive line isn't going to be able to protect Daniel Jones, that significantly hurts who Kenny Golladay is. You know, if the offensive line's bad, you want to counteract that with slants, screens. You know, that's not Kenny Galladay's game. That's not who he is as a player. So I'm really struggling to see a big year from Kenny Golladay, a top 15 year from Kenny Golladay this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in the sense that I don't see him as a top 15 wide receiver at best. You know, it all depends on Daniel Jones. Honestly, that's the biggest question. That's his biggest tie to this bounce back segment. For me, if I had to give you a percentage of if he can ever be in the top, 10 to 15 wide receivers, is really low. For me, I mean, maybe this is optimistic, but I think this is like a 20%, 15% chance for him to kind of get back into that realm. There's talent, but is Daniel Jones talented enough?
All right, OBJ.
Oh boy,
been a tough transition for him going from New York to Cleveland, fantasy wise, right? In 2019, his best year in Cleveland, he was a wide receiver 25. All right, 74 receptions, got 133 targets though. Just over 1,000 reception yards and 4 touchdowns. So the question is, can he bounce back to be a top 25 or a wide receiver 25 in fantasy this year?
No, I don't see it. And it's not because he's not talented enough. It's not because his injury. I just think that he's old. When I say old, I think he's mature. And he knows that he's not the main focus of this team anymore. And it is a team game. Before it was OBJ. Yeah. It was OBJ. Can OBJ do this? Can OBJ do that? Now they got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, freaking Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield. They have talent around them. This defense is good. He knows that he's going to take the back seat and he's just going to contribute where he can. So that's why I believe he's not going to come in and do anything super crazy or spectacular. Honestly,
I think he could do it.
Wow.
I know this is surprising, but I think he could finish as a top 25 wide receiver. The more likely scenario is no, right? But let me play devil's advocate as to why he could finish as a top 25 wide receiver. Okay. Number one, the maturity of Baker Mayfield. Okay. Baker has seen that he can be successful if he plays within the system.
Right.
And doesn't force things. Who is he forcing things to? OBJ. Okay. Now, what goes along with winning is you get your swag back. And I think Baker Mayfield's got his swag back. I think he's feeling dangerous when he wakes up now,
Right.
He's like, I can win, I can take us to the playoffs. He's seen that. He's seen that he can be that quarterback.
Yeah.
That's good for your number one wide receiver. When Baker Mayfield knows how to win games, that means that this identity of this offense is strong. Okay?
Okay.
And now for OBJ, the question isn't, how do they get me the ball? It's how do I fit into this offense? Okay. How do I fit into this offense? I hope that last year humbled him to show him I'm still a very good wide receiver.
Right.
But maybe how do I fit into this offense and make it even better? How do I actually add a wrinkle to this game? And I think the most important thing here is efficiency is key. Now, we shit on DJ Moore all last year, right?
Right.
But DJ Moore was relatively efficient.
Correct.
Okay. Now, he definitely could have caught more passes, but I guess I want to compare OBJ in 2021 to the role that DJ Moore had in 2020. Okay. He doesn't need to get 9 receptions a game anymore. He just needs to get maybe 5 to 6 chances to impact the game. And if he does that in an efficient way, it will be less volume, but more efficiency. So I think he does have a chance. Now we have to focus more on the run game. Oh, well, there's Jarvis Landry. Oh, well, Baker's actually making some plays. Oh, well, there's 5 to 6 times per game. OBJ isn't the centerpiece, but he makes plays to improve this offense. So I could see him having like a low reception total to end the year, but a higher than expected yardage total and maybe more touchdowns than you might expect. So I think he can absolutely impact this team in a positive way if the mindset is different. 2019, Courtland Sutton had a great year, finished as a wide receiver 19, 72 receptions on 124 targets, just over 1,100 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. Now we're going into 2021.
Okay.
It's Teddy B or it's Drew Lock, and Jerry Jeudy's on the opposite side. Can Courtland Sutton bounce back and finish as a potential top 20 wide receiver?
Yes. Drew Luck has the arm strength and can throw it down deep. Teddy B is an efficient quarterback. But once again, it's a great example that you brought up earlier, DJ Moore. He wasn't efficient, but towards the end of the year, he saw some sort of consistency coming in. And I think Courtland Sutton is going to have that same sort of role of a DJ Moore. He's going to come in, it's going to feel shaky. He's going to feel like, well, he's not having the best start. But then Teddy B, if it's Teddy, starts to target him and starts to really open up the playbook. And the same thing with Drew Luck. Drew Luck, he likes to throw deep, short passes, or he could throw those bombs to Courtland Sutton. My only concern with Courtland is his mentality. Where's he's at mentally? Can he get over that hurdle? A lot of talks in camp that he's saying that, a lot of beat reporters saying that he's not looking good. He's not having a rhythm. He doesn't feel comfortable as he's running a route. So I think these are things that I'm believing in Courtland Sutton to really bounce back. At best, before you say something, at best, wide receiver 19 is a huge stretch. I see him 20 to at least 25 falling. So maybe the real answer is no, but there is a huge, really close possibility that he does go to wide receiver 19. At least.
No.
He doesn't believe it.
No. Courtland Sutton is not going to finish as a top 20 wide receiver, guys. In 2019, let's be honest, he was the guy. There was no one really there to compete with targets. Okay. Now I know, Emmanuel Sanders was there. Yes, Emmanuel Sanders was there. He was also past his prime already. It was obvious that Sutton was the guy for Flacco and Drew Lock that year.
Right.
But what about 2021? I mean, Jerry Jeudy, who, by the way, in my opinion, is a more talented wide receiver. If the Broncos are smart, he should see more opportunities than Courtland Sutton.
Absolutely.
Outside of Jerry Jeudy, who else is there? Noah Fant. They didn't have Noah Fant. I mean, Noah Fant hadn't emerged yet, at least, right? What about Javonte Williams? They didn't have no Javonte Williams in 2019. Okay. I mean, with all due respect to Emmanuel Sanders, he's not that, he was that guy in 2019. Now he's just not that guy anymore.
You're just not that guy, pal.
Sutton. You're just not that guy, pal. I mean, with the uncertainty at quarterback, if there's one wide receiver who I think is valuable, it's Jerry Jeudy because of his talent. But with the uncertainty, I mean, I just don't see Courtland Sutton having that upside. I think he has like top 30 upside, right? I don't see like a top 20 finish from Courtland Sutton.
Okay.
Also, what happens to a GM when they draft a new wide receiver? There's a shiny new toy and they're thinking about paying one that just got injured. What happens to a GM? They want to be right. Okay.
Right.
So if they plan on letting Courtland Sutton go, which I'm sorry, I know he's talented, might financially be the right answer for the Denver Broncos, then maybe there's a little bit less focus on making Courtland Sutton a superstar this year.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.